It's Tyler's time. It's Tyler's time. Time to break it down. Time to shake it around. It's Tyler's time. It's Tyler's time. What you doing? It's Tyler's time. What you doing? It's Tyler's time. It's Tyler's time. Break it down now. Mm, mm. Get tacos, because it's Taco Tuesday. On Tyler's time. Now get started with Tyler Blunt.
Okay. Hey guys, what's up? It's Tyler, and welcome back to another episode of Conversations with a Natural. And today we have my friend Rhodonna.
Yay!
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you feeling? How you been doing? What you been up to?
Nothing really. Just been schooling online and just trying to keep myself in quarantine, even though I'm kind of like all over the place, but just staying in the house more. It's weird. It just feels like I'm super isolated, but I'm enjoying the time. Like, just been cooking, catching up on shows, a lot of work that I'm still doing as far as schoolwork. Can't wait for my semester to be done. But that's about it. And just eating. Ooh, snacks.
Ooh,
Sorry.
yeah, snacks. Yes. What are you in school for?
So I am in school for mass communications and minoring in professional studies.
So what does that really include?
So I want to be a part of like social world, like, just media. I like podcasting, so I'm trying to focus in or tune into that part of my life, like, because I do so many different things. So I've decided to go back to school and find something that I enjoy. Like, I like public relations. I like not mass communication. What is it? Media. Anything with the radio. So I like doing things like that. I'm not saying that I'm there yet, but I'm learning.
Okay, so we're just going to start off with some basic questions, and then we're just going to, let the conversation flow. I'll come in with some, more questions, but, we're just going to talk and
Definitely.
into it. Okay. So if you could tell everybody your name and your hair type, if you know it, and if you want them to follow you on Instagram, where they can find you at.
So my name is Rhodonna. My friends call me Ro, because people have a hard time saying Rhodonna. I'm joking, sidebar. And I believe my hair texture, I struggle with my hair texture because it's just 15 different. So I guess I am a 3C, 4A, sometimes 4B, and then sometimes 3B. So it's it's just all over. And then sometimes my hair can go into 3A, but it depends on, I call her a she. It depends on how she feels for the day. We go through, we are back and forth all the time. So I'm in between a lot of those stages. And sometimes I'm a 4C, depends on if my hair is super, super dry. It just depends on the week. I don't know.
Got you. And what has your natural hair journey been like?
Where do I begin? It has been a very long journey. So from, I guess, the beginning, I've always been natural at a really young age. My mom didn't believe in processing my hair, meaning relaxing it or anything. So I've always been super natural. But my hair has always been in braids, not like extension braids, just my natural hair. She always blew it out. We washed it, blew it out. She'll braid it, and it'll just be always in a braided hairstyle, if that answers your question. And then I kind of journeyed into my own little world with hair. Yeah, I think that answered that question.
Yeah. So how do you feel about your hair? Like, if you could sum it up in like a couple sentences, like, how do you feel about your hair?
We have gone through a lot with this hair. So in this present state, I enjoy my hair more. I didn't really like my hair before, but now that, I'm going through the journey all over again with her, I enjoy it. I love my I love my hair. So I'm in this place where I enjoy it more. I take time to, just be sensitive to it, and let her just roam how she wants.
And does your natural hair make you feel beautiful? And if
Ah!
there was a point where it didn't, like, how did you get over that?
Oh, so I was prepping for this question, and um, wait, say the question one more time, just in case.
Does your natural hair make you feel beautiful? And if there was like a point in time where you felt like it didn't, like, how did you get through that? Or how did you get to a point where it made you feel beautiful?
So so starting the beginning parts of my life, I didn't it has been a journey because one when I started going to school, and started interacting with other girls, I never seen my hair as just, it was just my hair. Like, it was just there. My mom would take care of it, and I was just like, I didn't really have a care for it. People, because I've always had really, really long hair. I want to say bra length, a little longer than bra length, somewhere around that area. People always equated me to my hair, like, oh, you and this hair. And it's just like, what hair? Like, I don't have any hair. It's just like, why are we pinpointing my hair right now? Why am I attached to a hair? Or why am I attached to this? So I didn't realize how much hair and how women view hair until I started going to school. I started interacting with people outside of my home, because in my house is just, I personally I never liked getting my hair combed. Me and my mom, she'll be combing my hair, and I'm like, not that I hated my hair, but I hated wash day. I hated when I didn't mind taking out my braids, but when it was time to get it braided, I felt like I was like, maybe I am super tender headed. I'd be like, no, I don't want to get my hair done. And my mom's like, you got to get your hair done. I'm like, no, ma'am. And it just upset me. I'm just like, can we just shave it bald? Because I don't want this hair. So my experience at home was just like, I never liked to comb my hair, and people were like, oh, your hair is so beautiful. I'm like, if you understood what I went through just to get this one braid down, okay. So outside of my home, I didn't realize how much hair really mattered to women, or women who look like me, or Black women. Well, I am Black, hilarious. So there was a point in my life where I would kind of, because my hair was long, I used to kind of hide behind it all the time. So my mom would have braids, and people, I got to the point where people be like, oh, your hair is so beautiful. And it's just like, thanks. Like, do you not see me?
Yeah.
You just see this mane or these braids, and do you not see me as a person? So for a period of my life, not that I didn't care for my hair, but I was just kind of like, I don't really care to have hair. I remember one experience that I had. I think I was in high school. I was a freshman, and I was sitting in front of this girl, and she was sitting. We were all in the auditorium, and I was sitting in front of her. She was sitting behind me. I didn't even know her. She was probably I know she was in a higher grade than me. So I'm sitting in front of her, and my hair just I used to do the Alicia Keys braids in I think 9th grade. So I used to have braids, beads, because I love beads. I love to go shh. That's the only thing I loved about it. So I had my hair braided, and I'm sitting back, and I don't know if you know about the auditorium chairs, the floopy chairs. So I'm sitting on a chair having fun, because I'm just like, yeah, this is great. And she, not even know her, oh, you think you cute? And I'm like, turn around, excuse me, ma'am? Like, what? Like, what's this happening right now? You think you cute because you got long hair? And I'm like, and in that moment, I'm like, we're really talking about my hair? Like, something that I don't even, like, I'm not even paying like attention to. It's just something that's just there, and I'm just enjoying my moment, and you're obsessed with my hair. Oh, you think you're cute because you got long hair? And I'm like, I turned around, I just looked, and I was like, no, like, it's hair. What, like, your problem is. So not that I hated my hair, but I just gotten to a point where I would either hide behind it and people like, you're so beautiful because of your hair, or people would just randomly hate me because I had hair and I wasn't attached to my hair. I was just like, it's hair. Like, I don't really care about my hair. I don't know what's the stigmatism that we have that because I've always gone through this before they would just exotify, oh, you have really long hair, so you must not be Black. And I'm like, I am Black. Stop it. I'm Black. Oh, well, where's your family from? Now I'll be like, I'm African. Like, so people just stop with the questions. And that sounds really bad, but when I tell people, oh, my background is I'm Trinidadian or whatever. Oh, I see it. What do you see?
I see what.
What exactly do you see? What are we seeing? Is the Trinidad flag on the side of my face or something? What are you seeing? Oh, because your hair is so long. It's just the texture. But it's just a texture. It is just a hair that grows. I didn't ask to be born with the hair that I had. And I didn't like it for like a long period of time. I hate when people are like, you have really good hair. Stop. I don't have good hair. I just have hair. Hair comes in different ways, shapes, and form. So for a long time, I didn't really care for my hair. I couldn't wait to get older to just kind of like, because my braids were always long and they're like, oh, I just wanted to like, a part of me now looking back, I really wanted to shave my head bald. But in that moment, I just felt like, even sometimes my mom, unbeknownst to her, she was just like, oh, I'll miss you with your long hair. And I'm like, ma'am, stop it. Okay. She's still here. Okay? She's like, you have long, luxurious hair. She's still here. I manipulate her sometimes. I'm like, let's cut it all off. So it has been the earlier part of my life. I didn't really care for my hair. I didn't really like it. I didn't like what people felt when they see my hair. And then later on in life, I had to, after I went through a whole journey with the locks and shaving her bald, I went out bald. And then after seeing her grow and after seeing my hair grow and going through that hair transition, when I was like, oh my God, my hair is super low. And I look like my mom's husband was like, you look like a dyke. And I'm like, wow. Like, so I had to go through that. I went through just, that awkward phase where you're like, is my chin too big for my hair right now? Like, am I chunky right here? So let me put on a full face of makeup. So she looked like and then people, oh, you got to cut your hair because your hair is like, it's growing. And, when you get that little hair growing back there, people are like, oh, that looks a little disgusting. I'm like, girl, she ready. So when I went through when I went through having my hair cut all off, I appreciated it because but there were other things that kind of led me to appreciate my hair more. But after I shaved it all off and watched how felt the texture of it growing, the patterns, because when your hair grows, sometimes it grows. I don't know if I have the terms right, but okay, we're gonna pretend like I had terms right. But it grows in just a certain way, so you're like touching it and going against the grain and going with the grain and touching the little like, ooh, what is this? And seeing her at her lowest, and when I mean lowest, like Caesar kind of cut, and appreciating her like I'm growing hair. I'm going through a phase. I love it, and she's free. And that first shower, going under the shower and just like, I don't have to do anything. So I think in that moment, I appreciated her. And I think when me and my grandmother was having a conversation and I was starting my lock journey, she was like, I want you to understand that hair is something that is a living thing. And in that moment when I was going through my lock journey, something in me felt like, oh, that's so beautiful. My hair is a living thing. And I talk to her all the time. Before I didn't talk to her, I used to just be like, oh. But I talked to her, and when my grandmother told me that, it made me appreciate things that we take for granted, hair.
Yeah.
And just a host of other things. But we take for granted what we have. So In that moment, I just kind of was like, Rhodonna, it's okay. If when people, now I make it a point when people are like, oh, you have really good hair. No, I just have hair. I just have hair. That's all that I have. It's not a good hair. Good hair is being able to take a comb and go right through. And if you can do that, that's good hair right there because you passed the comb through it. Good job. You've completed the task. Yeah. So I think I finished my sentence with that.
I was gonna say, because I feel like I've had this similar experience because I've had hair my whole life. Like my
Yeah.
hair's always been long. So like even when like before you got to the church, like my hair has always been long. Like it's always been
Right.
at least like mid back, even when I was younger. And then when I went
Yeah.
in like a little situation where my hair just kind of disappeared, and
Yeah.
I thought something was wrong, or like like why'd you cut your hair, or where'd your hair go? And I was like, oh,
Right.
it just I didn't know how to explain it, but I was like, at that point I had become fine with having shorter hair because I was like, well, it looks good and it'll grow back. I was sad, but I was like, okay, like it's hair, it'll come back. And
Right.
I never understood the attachment that we had with length, not just
Mm-hmm.
hair, but like long hair. It's like, what do you think that is? Like, is it rooted in other things, or just like, do we have an attachment just to the idea of like the long flowy hair? Like, what do you think?
I think we do. I think I forgot where I heard this. I don't remember where I heard it from, but I've had a conversation with, and I don't remember who. We associate like hair with beauty. And I could be saying that wrong, but a lot of times we think because we have long hair, it makes us more feminine, or because my hair is shorter, we play on that idea like, oh, because her hair is so long, she's ooh, va, va, boom. It's just like, that's nice. But we equate it with longer hair, meaning, oh, she's not that. I could be saying that wrong, but we automatically think like, oh, she's so feminine. Like, oh my gosh, her hair's so luxurious and so long. Like we just think length means healthy, or length means, oh, yes, yes. And it's just like, no, there's no real reason why we take length as, I'm still trying to understand that. What is the obsession with long hair versus short hair? Or I can't seem to put my finger on that. Like I only thing I can think of is we just think, oh, because she has really long, maybe she's more feminine. I don't know. Or she's more beautiful because she has long hair. And it's like, no, sorry.
And it's like weird because like you mentioned, people were like, oh, you must be mixed. And I've been getting that for a long time. Like people are like, oh, you must be like, there's no way you're just like black. Like there's no way you're completely black. And I'm like, why can I not just be black and have a looser curl pattern? Like the amount of people that kind of don't understand that we're not
That's
like monolithic. Like black hair is not one thing. Like it can look different, and I don't have to be a mixed ethnicities or something like that. Like I don't have to be biracial for me to have
right.
a looser curl pattern. And I don't know, I think it's just something that we need to kind of just like dive deeper on and like look into, because I don't think it's like not healthy. I don't, it just never made any sense to me.
And I think even with that, I've had conversations with my friends, and I'm like, hair just comes out very different. Hair is hair. Whether you have what 1C, AC, whatever, 3C, or a 4, it's still hair. And because even she was obsessed with, oh, just, you have really nice hair. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No. It's just, I can manipulate a different hairstyle versus, I always tell people, and this is how I sum it up. I go, yeah, I might have nice, quote unquote, whatever, a looser curl pattern, or my hair seems like I can comb through it nicely. And I'm like, man, there are days where my hair is tangled to the gods, and I'm like, oh no, it still gets tangled. And I told her the only difference is how I explain it to her is whenever I do my hair, say if I do braids or whatever, I was like, braids don't stay long in my hair. And I don't like that. I was like, when you do braids, it stays lovely. You can like it's just certain things that are pros and cons when you have just different types of hair texture. I was like, I can't hold a curl. I mean, not that, sorry, not, I was like, my hair can't hold braids all the time. Like I can tie my hair 1,000,005 times. After a week and a half, my hair looks like I've been like dragging across the floor. It's frizzy. And I'm like, come on, man, like just stay on it. When I look at how, like when I used to do her hair, I'm like, your hair holds the hairstyle longer. If you add extension to it, it looks, it's like, this is, you can go a whole month with it. I try to do that. The root of my hair is locked. My hair is locked into the braid. And I'm like, so there are pros and cons. You gotta pay, I don't know if that made sense in that moment.
Yeah, it goes with the whole the theme of what we were talking about. But since we're still talking about your hair, before we get into talking about other people's hair, are there any particular tips or tricks that you found useful for your hair? And then, like, I know you went to cosmetology school, so is there any tricks that you've learned from school that people can use, like, at home?
Okay, so what I've learned with my hair, she loves water. My hair loves water. Anything water based. It like when I put some like water based, it's like yes, hydration. She just like I don't know what she does, but it's like yeah. I'm like ooh, look at you, girl. She's like it's I don't know how to explain it, but when I do more of a wet, I think you was explaining that to me. But when I do more of like something with a wet consistency, she looks rich. She looks like she's moisturized to the heavens, and you're like, oh, you got a little moisture going on, girl. So for me, moisture has always been really good to me. When I know she's moisturized, if I can hold a hairstyle or I can hold curls for a really long time. I can just take the comb and she looked like, oh yes. So moisture has been really good to me. Unfortunately, with cosmetology school, when I was going, they don't really touch on natural hair. And that is a problem within itself because they cater to more of a straight, they cater more to straight hair. They cater more to burning our hair out. They don't really, even though they touch on curl patterns and how your curls come out of your head oblong and ecliptic. I might be saying it wrong, but don't judge me, guys. So we all grow hair differently. So that's the closest I've learned about natural hair, or that they could have given me for natural hair. So the only time that you hear anything as far as cosmetology and natural hair is if you're going into braiding. That's when and even then they don't really talk about natural hair care. Like I believe now maybe in cosmetology school they may touch on natural hair because it's such a it's big now. So everyone's like, oh yeah, let's talk about natural hair now. And even when I was going to cosmetology school, they're like, oh, so what do you do with your hair? And I'm like, the same thing you do with your hair, ma'am. Yeah, so you learn the things that they teach us is how to blow out curls. Like, so if a girl comes and sit in my chair, I know how to get her hair from really curly to straight, but they don't talk about the transition from curly to straight. When you combing out someone with curly hair, you don't go from the root out. You kind of go from the ends and you come in because you're breaking that hair if you're going from the root base and pulling out. You're pulling her hair and you're just raking through. So when I went to cosmetology school, they didn't really touch on natural hair care. We didn't really learn nothing about natural hair care. We didn't learn nothing about we may have learned how to keep a curl and how to hydrate curl with the scrunching kind of method, but nothing with African American or people who look like us.
That sucks. And it's like it really has become a trend because it's profitable now. And
Yep.
like all these like hair care brands like Dove and Head and Shoulders and all these like brands that have
You
never
said it.
released like a natural hair care line, all of a sudden they have these ads with like
You're saying it, girl.
coarse hair and coils and curls and all these things. And it's like, where was this like 5 years ago? Like, Black people did not just come out. We're not a new invention. We didn't just fall from the sky. Like, we've been
Speak.
here for forever. So I don't understand why all of a sudden now we're profitable. Like, we've been supplying money to the economy for years. Natural hair care is an industry.
Come
It's a
through.
sector. Like,
Come through.
understand why now all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you deserve something for your hair too. Here you go. Here it is. Yeah.
It's money, and because I love that now that we have gotten out of the relaxer, because even relaxers, if you think about the components in relaxers, it's not really good for your head. And lye, and just if we go down the list of those things, it's not really good. So I was super happy when I started seeing more natural afros. And I'm like, ooh, I love it. And people transitioning out of relaxer stage into natural hair. So they realized the shift of Black America, or I want to say Black women, or just the rainbow of women changed. Then they're like, oh, so we're losing money here in the relaxer. So let's see what the masses need. Oh, they need natural hair care. Oh, all right. So it's all politics and money. It's a money game. The companies don't want to lose. They don't want to lose. They don't want to lose money. They don't want to, the world spins around and do some money. So they're like, oh, so now we have women who are trying to be in natural hair care. Let's see what they need. Even if we don't necessarily know that the products that we're pushing out is really good for their hair, but because we're going to slap a Black face on it, they're going to buy it.
Before we transition into, you being a hairstylist and whatnot, I just want to know, do you have any favorite products that you like to use?
All right. So I'm not all the way a product junkie. So I've gone through, my favorite product right now is Miss Jessie.
You got money.
No, Tyler, we done talked about this. I've blown money on hair products. Like, I didn't realize how much of a product junkie I was. And if I don't have products, I will concoct a product in my kitchen and be like, all right, so let's put some eggs in that. Let's put some mayo. But for right now, I use Miss Jessie, if I'm correct. I'm going to fade out Cantu. I love Cantu, but I'm going to have to fade it out eventually. What else do I have in my kitchen? I had a Design Essentials, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what it's called, the DE logo. But it's kind of a hit or miss, and I was using Mixed Chick, but then I had to drop her like a bad habit. No, I'm joking. No, but I stopped using Mixed Chicks. But my favorite products right now is the Miss Jessie, or Miss Jessie, and Cantu, but I'm gonna have to fade it out. So as of right now, Miss Jessie, and I love. I'm embedded in Cantu. So Miss Jessie is the person. Miss Jessie. Hello?
Miss Jessie's product.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I used her detangular. One time I was like, I didn't comb my hair in quite some time. All right, don't judge. And I put that product on there. I saturated it, and I was like, oh, when you can comb your hair, get a comb through your hair, you're like, what? So once you get a product, it's not that you stick to it, but I sometimes try different products. But now that I have a list of Black-owned products, I'm going to try to lean more into my Black-owned products or sometimes I just concoct what I can. And sometimes the home remedies that my mom used to do in my hair, I still kind of transfer over and just be like, all right, whatever, I ain't got no money to, so times are tough.
I've used Miss Jessie's a couple of times, but they were sample size, so they were like little pockets. Don't do me. Um, they were like pillow soft curls and like some sort of jelly or something.
Yeah.
I was like, I said, I see why people spend $17 a bottle on this. I was like,
Yes.
I can't do that. So,
Honey. No, she, them products, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not even like the, because I spent $17, I'm like, oh, let me get that. I be on some like, it's like, Rhodonna, you see how I apply products to my hair? Be like, did you not just spend money on that? I'm like, I did, but shh, don't judge me. She needs it.
it is what it is. It'll, if you got the money, you can always buy it again. So,
Yeah, no, sometimes I'll be struggling. I put a little water in and just be like, all right, let's shake that up. Let's get that little bottom part and just let's whip that up and pretend like, times are real.
okay, so when did you start doing other people's hair?
Okay, so I started with my mom used to braid. When my mom used to braid my hair, I used to try to mimic her braids. So I started with my Barbie doll first. So I want to say this braiding thing or this life of hairstyling had started when I was about 7. I'm kidding. I'm just joking. An actual human being.
Human beings.
I think, how old was I? I think I was like 14 when I started experimenting with braids, like, because not cornrows, not braids, cornrows. So my mom showed me early how to do the three strand, not twist, 3-strand braid. But then cornrows, I was practicing a lot. So I want to say the first head I really braided on I was maybe 13, 14. And I always remember I was in Trinidad and I was braiding one of my grandmother's friend's granddaughter, whatever. I was braiding her and I was like, I did a hairstyle, So I was my first actual person. I was I younger? Okay, so let's just go between the ages of 10 and 14.
Okay.
That's when I started really braiding or sitting with other people and doing their hair.
Okay. And like now that you've had like experience with like, multiple people now, like, is there a specific style that you prefer working with, or are you specializing in anything right now at this point?
Well, because I used to do a lot of people's locks. Kudos to my grandma. I have to give her a shout out. She was my first teacher. People automatically call me a loctician and I'm like, no, because I didn't want to be boxed in. So I always experiment with just other things. And even if the experimenter, I mean, not the person who I'm experimenting is on myself. I do, but I focus more on natural hair, if that helps. I focus more on natural hair, but I'm not limited to just natural hair because I can do, if you know what dry bar is known for, blowing out hair straight, I can do these things. I just like natural hair more because I feel like it's more rewarding. So I like naturals. So I specialize in natural hair for now.
And so what's your favorite thing about working with natural hair?
I appreciate the manipulating, how with natural hair you can go from really tight curls or really perm rod curls. Like you can just manipulate any way that you want, or even if you with the products with the products in the right way. I like blowing it out and seeing it go from its natural state, from tight shrinkage to like so long. Because you would never think that someone who has like a tight fro, when you blow out the hair, it's like, okay, sis, I see you, honey. You don't realize how much of a stretch it can take. So I like natural hair because it comes in different shapes. You can manipulate it however you want. You can braid it. It'll hold the braid. It'll just do not whatever, but treated correctly, it will do whatever you want it to do. So I think that's what makes me, that's what I love about natural hair, or what I love the natural hair journey, because it's so much that you can learn from it. It is so much you can take from it. It is so much that you can do with it. It comes in just different in a variety of things. Like from if I'm saying the chart 2A to no, well, not 2A. Sorry, I'm lying. From well, yeah, matter of fact, let's play with that 2A all the way to a 4C. You like, come on with it. And but I love 4C hair. And I know people always enjoy what they don't have in, hindsight or whatever, but I enjoy doing people with a 4C hair. Like, I love 4C hair. My friends are like, people who have 4C hair, like, oh no. I'm like, no, we can switch, because I love me some 4C hair. I love when, you get them tight little spirals. You be like, ooh, girl, ooh. Sorry, I know I just went on a whole, and they cut the sides, they taper the sides, and it's just like poofed up. You be like, yes, come through. And then they do a little fade off. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did.